Welcome, everyone, to our Agile Product Builders community webinar. Today's session is part of our product series, where we explore the complexities of building digital products in a real-life context. And I'm Anna, and I will be your host today. And our topic is how to design digital services in multi-stakeholder environments, a space where designing digital services means aligning diverse stakeholders, often with competing mandates, while still keeping the user in focus. And I'm really happy today because I'm joined by Aleksandra Maslon, product designer and UX strategist at Boldare, a digital product company with a deep experience in building products across complex multi-stakeholder environments. And for the past 2 years, Aleksandra has played a key role in designing and optimizing the user experience of a Saudi government platform that brings together investors, service providers, and public institutions. And she also brings prior experience in research, user testing, and UX design for medical products. And it's giving her a broad perspective on how organizational, legal, and political factors influence product development. Ola, it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. Also, really happy to be there with you, with speaking about this topic, and hopefully everyone is today with us will get really important information that we can focus on.
Good. As always, let's start with a fundamental question, like the basics for everything. What are the biggest challenges in designing digital services and products in environments where multiple government bodies and private stakeholders are involved?
It's maybe the fundamental question, but I think it's the most important question. Why? Because the biggest challenge, in my opinion, is definitely coordination. Both, of course, from the technical reasons, from the cultural reasons, but still it's the communication and coordination in it. Why? Because theoretically, service design plays crucial role in the whole phase and gaps the different points when we have in the product design, the service design itself. And I can face maybe, I would say, few things of them. For example, when we think about lack of alignment, when we speak about shared vision, we need to imagine that the different stakeholders and the different institutions in this case have totally different view of the product, have totally different priorities, sometimes also processes they want to work with. So it's something we can, I think, face in almost all the processes and the product designs project I also work on. Although another situation can be, for example, facing problems with fragmented systems. So that's mean this whole data silos when we think about different institution again, we think about it that every institution, every organization has his own system when they store data, provide data, etc. To combine everything together and to get everything together with this smooth flow of data, it's really difficult in this case. And we need always compare and consider it when we want to start to work on it, when we can maybe find out if it's somehow possible maybe to go also and to maybe also speak about it, how we can bring it together and how we can do it best way that this data optimization can also work properly, maybe from one place. Another challenge when I also faced on was I will call it decision making. That's mean when we think about government, when we speak about different stakeholders, multi-stakeholders environment, we think about it, okay, it can be really difficult to get somehow easy approvals. I know how it goes, but still we need to think about it that the multiple stakeholders had different ways and layers of working, right? So they had also different layers of approvals, the responsibilities they can take or not. Sometimes the risk management also work totally different, which we also need to consider in the process. And when we think about this complex, we think about that maybe it can slow down a bit, not only design, but also the whole delivery process because of this lack. And when we go to this decision making, I will also point another thing, which is, for example, this how it calls ownership on end to end. That means when we speak about these responsibilities in this area on the multi-stakeholders environment, we think about it, okay, where exactly will take responsibility for all the processes we will take right now, we want to implement, we want to go forward. So those are, I think, the most important parts. Of course, to it come also this whole political and policy barrier, which can comes in it, depends on the different industries. Or in the situation institutions. But I think it's also somehow compared to all the challenges I mentioned right now. So yeah, I will say those are, from my perspective, from my opinion, the most important challenges.
And the first one you mentioned is the biggest one or not? Or
I
this
think,
is the priority list with the priorities, or
yeah,
it's
I
just...
would say this is the bigger, the first one is the bigger problematic, maybe I would say in this way. But I need also maybe to say a bit more about it, because I think with every single product we do and every single experience we make, we learn a bit how it can work, how we can with every next product go faster with those processes to facing these challenges, to go deeper also with the stakeholders, with the other team parts, members. And explain how it can maybe work better, faster. So I think the experience here is the most important part, in my opinion.
Yeah. And we know that not everybody, but many companies, they ask for help, consulting or tech partners. And how can a consulting or tech partner effectively support a client navigating this legal, political, and mostly organizational constraints?
I think that's the most important thing right now is to understand that we not only deliver solutions, right? We want to, I would say, guiding our client through the whole process. And with this guiding come the elements or the support points which are important in this area to go deeper in this section. And when I think about this, maybe key points about the support, I will say definitely we need to try to act maybe not as only vendor, I will say, but maybe more as the trusted guide. So we need to demonstrate our ability and understanding for the political landscape, for everything what happens in this field, with the whole policy context and everything what come up, of course, with the whole strategic things which come out from the government. Because as I mentioned before in the first question, it's really important. It's come up together, and to facing everything at once will help us also to understand more, to maybe go deeper in the whole ecosystem in it, and automatically be more provider also and this guider of the trust in it. Also, another point will be, for example, mapping constraints. It's also helpful in this case when we can really think about it, how we can maybe mapping all the constraints we have right now and how we can go with our strategy on it, how we can maybe prepare better solutions, how we can facing also risks, because every single stakeholder will have different risks, and how we can facing everything together. For it also, I will say it will be somehow compared maybe with that what I said right now, but it will be also facilitating cross-stakeholders collaborations. So it can come up, for example, with the workshops together, or different operations, or political strategy sessions. So everything what comes up together, all the stakeholders, if of course possible, and showcase the different stages of the product, of the priorities and everything together. That maybe it will also help also us as a potential partner, tech partner, or even consulting partner to help more to go deeper in the product or this plan of the product itself. So it will be the most important, I think.
And coming from this general topics to the product itself, we know that one always recurring tension we hear about from our customers, and we know from our experience, it's the trade-off between compliance and user experience, especially in services designed for citizens of or large groups or internal groups of people. What strategies help in maintaining user-centered design when stakeholders focus more on policy compliance than user experience? And we know that it's understandable and very often what can we use? What strategies help us?
Here I would like to also add, maybe at start, one important thing. Sometimes we forget that user-centered design or user experience design doesn't mean ignore policy. So we need to compare or to do everything the best way to compare two things at once. And of course, we need to focus on the user-centered design. We need to focus on the user itself, but it can't work without this whole policy, right? So it's always compared together. And the best way I also faced in the product design is translate this policy to the proper user needs. We can do, for example, different maps, journey, for example, journey maps or something like it. When we can face first the problems we can have from the policy itself, we can think about it, how we can maybe solve the best in the best way those problems. For example, when we think about the main policy thing about mandatory fields in form, for example. So how we can make it easier for the user to understand, how we make it faster to fill out by user, and we still always have solutions for it. So for now, we are in the field when you can really create something really fast and definitely go with this idea forward. So this translating policy needs into the needs of our user, it's really important. But with this topic comes also research. So the evidence of that, what we can have. When I think about user experience, I think always about research, how we can provide the best solution. When we think about also on this policy in this case, when we go to the research itself. So do we have data for it? Maybe we need to find out first data. Maybe we need to find out how we can go with usability testing, for example, or even we should do some interviews with the users to find out what exactly will be their main pain point for this one issue from the policy. And in this case, we can definitely somehow bring together policy and user-centered design, I think. But yeah, I think with it, when we decide, of course, to go deeper in the research, we will go in the prototypes areas, we will go to the debating about different hypotheses and everything. And when we also are right now in this policy area, and policy and user-centered, we need also, or not to forget one important thing, what is accessibility. Accessibility is our policy. It's policy which allow us or it's give us the potential or important rules we need to take when we create products. And it's also policy, and it's the best, I would say, maybe example right now for this question, because you can see accessibility in this case compare both things at once. They had policy for do it, and we have, of course, our solutions, the best solution, then we can create our product with this accessibility. So we address both at once, accessibility and automatically also experience of our user. And yeah, that's, I think that's all important for this question. Maybe I will find something more. I don't know.
Yeah, it is like I'm always thinking about what kind or type of the strategies are behind the cookies policy in European Union. You know what I mean? There is definitely not a win of the user. Definitely the policy is winning all the time. It's getting better right now, but still, it's like the not very good example of how to align
You're right.
policies or anything coming from the law together with
And it's changing also
people
really
and
fast,
users.
right? Exactly. And it's changed really, really fast. We face this changing really often right now. So it's again this comparing policy with user experience every time and every single change from the law from this perspective from European Union right now.
Yeah. And as we said, alignment in many understandings and many meanings, alignment is everything, but also one of the hardest things to achieve when everyone is pulling in slightly different directions, when everybody has different goals and different KPIs. Do you know or can share with us the types of the artifacts, like, I don't know, roadmaps, KPIs, prototypes, are most useful in creating alignment across diverse stakeholder groups? What did you use? What is working?
I would say, for me, artifacts, when I think about it in this connection to this multi-stakeholder environment, I would say it's not, for me personally, it's not only document of work. It's something more. For me, it's somehow connection or maybe shape of the whole communication, the product. And it makes, of course, complexity of everything, but we get everything visible when we use this artifacts, for example, which I will mention right now, and it helps us to work together in the different teams, different divides and everything. And when I think a bit deeper about the strategies on the artifacts, I will say the first one will be definitely a bit more about stakeholders and thinking about it. We have still this multi-stakeholder environment. So the first will be for me, in this perspective, thinking about a vision statement. So what exactly is your vision statement from every single stakeholder or stakeholder groups? When we think about them, as I mentioned in the first question, I think we still have issues when every single institution has his own priorities, his own goal, his own product vision. And to have this statement help us directly show, okay, what exactly everyone from the stakeholders would like to have in the product. Then I will think about how we can bring this statement, of course, together, and of course, creating maybe something as product roadmap when we can see also all the statements together. Of course, when we think about more stakeholders groups, I will also think or ask myself, do we need something as stakeholder map? Sometimes it's also helpful because also different responsibilities, different groups have different also rules in the whole relationships together. When we have really big group of stakeholders, we'll be definitely able to have it on site to see who exactly can we ask for something because of different reasons which came up in the product design, the product statement. Then, of course, when we go to the user experience design or user-centered design, we have different user personas when we can speak about it, how important it is. I know we have two groups. Sometimes people say the personas are not needed. Another says it's really neat to have it. I am in the group when I will say definitely when we speak and work in a really complicated product with different users, with different groups of users, we need to have personas because it shows us how we can create better solution for every single group as well. And I think it's important. So it will be the user persona, maybe journey maps also when it's possible to take, depends on that how deep we are in the product. Also different usability reports when we have something, of course. When not, we need to think about it if we can create something. And of course, when we go to the artifacts of the whole delivery process, then here we see definitely backlog and the whole priorities. And again, we go to the first question back. When we have different priorities, we will need to find solution how we can divide it into proper backlog solution for the whole team that we can properly work on it. And here we will have also different prototypes when we validate our ideas. So it will be connected together.
And definitely there is one person needed, like a proper product owner, very, yeah, it's not so obvious because you know, as with your experience, that sometimes it's not very, let's say, obvious for everybody from the beginning, that definitely there is a need of one person. Even this person makes mistakes or has to ask 5 other people for approvals. Definitely at the end, when we want to build something, somebody has to take decisions. So it's like it's always needed, and sometimes not so well prepared from the perspective of the customers. And what do you think is anyhow design system an element of alignment between stakeholders? Because I know that you use it a lot in many places, but is it anyhow helping to discuss or to decide?
I think yes, when it's good prepared, when it showcases different options, of course, because we're still based on these different priorities, goals, and we need to find out it's the best, where is the best solution for all of us, because we still need to work on the one product and to common purpose, I will say, and but still we think that design system is definitely something we can have and can help us to go forward with the whole product strategy forward.
Okay, so I'm looking at my clock right now, but before we wrap up, I would love to hear one piece of advice you would give to anyone stepping into the product leadership in a multi-stakeholder setting, especially if he or she is doing it for the first time. What it would be, like this piece of advice?
Piece of advice. I would say don't rush. Don't rush when it's to have all the questions or all the answers at the first stage. It's not possible. We need to focus a bit more about on the building, maybe trust, maybe the whole strategy properly, and to share understanding also of the whole processes itself. The whole answers came up later because it's still process. So I will definitely say that this multi-stakeholder environment, it's the real job not making, the backlog properly working. We create or we align with people, I will say. And it's the most important purpose. We align with people with the different agendas, with the different languages, with the different goals, with the different priorities. And we need to find the best solution for all of us. Of course, have somewhere in head the user-centered design, but still preparing for it. So it will be my advice to think about it properly and focus first on the most important things, and then everything will be solved in the process flow.
Yeah. Okay, Ola, thank you so much for all your insights today.
Thank you very much.
Truly grounded and thoughtful conversation. Thank you for that. And to all of you joining us from the Agile Product Builders community, thanks for being here. And if you would like to participate in future live Agile Product Builders product or tech series meetings, please follow us on social media. And until next time, stay curious. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.